you just take Tony as a case study for a moment, what is it that faith does in these circumstances? We analyze it as opposed to just accept what he's done. And actually, St. Paul is a very good example of this. In fact, to use from a different religion, the Prophet Muhammad is a very good example of this. The first thing is, you've got to be prepared to believe that something that's wrong can be changed into something that's right. You know, a lot of people look at the world, they don't dispute there's terrible things, but they just say, you know. But actually what faith does is it gives you an inner sense that things can be changed. They don't have to be like that. They can be changed. There's a sense of possibility that comes with it. The second thing I think that comes with it is a willingness to think differently and anew and to challenge conventional wisdom. I mean, I think what's interesting about all the great prophets, and let's take it in the broader sense, certainly with the Abrahamic faiths, but all the great prophets have one thing in common, which is absolutely fascinating in the sense that now there's a kind of doctrine about them, and that is they were all challenging conventional thinking. You know, so St. Paul absolutely dramatically, obviously, but not just in relation to Judaism and Christianity, but actually in relation to the practices of Judaism, some of which were kept, but some of which were altered. St. Peter and Cornelius likewise. So there's that as well. But again, you could go across the religious movements and you look at any of the great teachers. If you look at any of the great teachers within, for example, the Hindu religion, they are all people who are challenging the conventional wisdom. And I think the third thing is that it gives you is a determination to keep going in the face of adversity. And to recognize that there is something more important than the transient good opinion of any particular time. And that is what I think faith can only mean something if at a certain vital moment, for all your weaknesses and limitations, you are prepared to surrender self. You know, that's what Islam means. It means surrender to God, right? So that is a concept that I think is dramatically important in faith. And so what leads him to do something that would be very that is thinking he can actually change something, when most people would have said, well, how are you going to get them to change that? B, he does it in circumstances where he's prepared to do something radically different and challenge conventional wisdom, and C, he keeps at it. Now, I think those are really important aspects in the way that faith can interact with the way that you do things, and that's what you notice. And it's what you notice. I mean, I am many ways as a practicing politician. You know, when you're in government, you're taking decisions the whole time, right? And let's be honest about it. Some of these decisions you're taking on a very practical transactional basis, right? And we go this way rather than that way. Let's suss it out. We got these problems. That is the business of politics, and it's there. But there are always crucial moments in which actually it's not a transactional issue. It can be either a transformational issue or it's certainly an issue of great principle. And it's at that point that you work out within yourself whether you're prepared to surrender what might be actually a short-term personal self-interest to something bigger. So when Tony decides, they may describe him as a nutcase and finish him off, but he nonetheless decides to do it. Now, the really difficult thing is if they had finished you off, or you'd been there. But actually, the fact is, you would have still been doing the same thing. Now, that's what it gives you, and that's the difference, I think.